And I'm here with Kellie Marin. Kellie, am I saying that correctly?
Yes.
Okay, you're going to be fighting on May 15th for USKA Fight Sports in Hamburg, PA. So why don't you introduce yourself to the USKA fans?
Hi, Kellie Marin. I'm 35. I train at Central PA Mixed Martial Arts in State College, Pennsylvania. I've been training in Muay Thai for almost 4 years this summer.
Right. You train with some pretty bad fighters, right?
Yeah, I would say on a daily basis. I'm training with some pretty excellent fighters who train both amateur and maybe pro soon. So I'm lucky to have a good fight team with me.
Very good. So, and what appealed to you about the martial arts to begin with, or fight sports? What got you into it?
Kickboxing or Muay Thai specifically, I would probably say the kicking, because I used to be a dancer. So oftentimes, I mean, that's all we did most of the time, is a lot of technique and drilling. So it was actually a funny story, is that I moved out here for my graduate degree at Penn State. And I didn't want to run in the cold, because when I found it's like more moderate temperature, I was like, hey, what could I do that's like high cardio? So I just walked into the gym, signed up that day, and then I've been going many times a week since then. So
very good, very good. So you're kicking anyway, so why not kick someone? Is that it?
Yeah.
And if you're gonna do some exercise, you'd rather do it where it's warm. Like, just so I'm clear on all that, right?
Yeah.
Very good, very good. So, in your last fight, tell us how that experience was for you.
It
was a good fight. I saw it, a very competitive fight.
Yeah, it was a very close call with a good competitor. It was split decision. It could have gone either way. I think nerves was probably the thing that got to me. I didn't know what to expect, because it's your first fight and there's like lights and everything. But I mean, it went to, 3 2-minute rounds, and it was what I expected. I was like, wow, after I was done with it, like I thought it was something I didn't think I could do. And when I was done with it, I was like, wow, oh, okay, I can do this. I was like, that's done with. I was like, I want more now.
So when you decided to take this fight, what in your training changed? I mean, or is it business as usual for you at the gym?
I would say that, like, I always try and stay pretty close to fight ready anyways. So already training multiple times a day and keeping my cardio up throughout the year. I would say ramping up, I do add in extra pad rounds, extra drilling, maybe to be more fight specific, or what we might expect or think that we might encounter for the fight, depending on who it's with, and so I would say I have ramped up in that regards, and putting up, of course, a little extra sparring and hit time with my friends.
Have you studied Madelyn's fights, or is that something you don't do?
I know that in terms of prepping, what you can find, that's common to look at, maybe the style or technique of the other person. But I mean, there's only so much you can find. And also I know that since I only have one fight behind me, there's probably only so much that she can find on my own. So we take what we might happen, and then if something changes in the middle of the match, that's what it is.
Very good. That's a great attitude. So it's Friday now, and the fight is maybe 8 days away. So what are you doing for your training in these last 8 days? I'm assuming it's not hard sparring.
Yeah, so you want to keep up the conditioning and make sure, to have some of the drills that we've been working on down. And I feel pretty comfortable with that. So it's more of, not hard intensity. You don't want to get injured before the fight, but just making sure you keep like a steady pace and stay strong before Saturday.
Right. Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. So if things go your way on Saturday night, I've been asking all the fighters this time around. Your fight's done. You look out into the audience. Who are you looking for?
I'll probably hug my coach, Ryan, first. I mean, and maybe my teammates that are the closest to me. They've been watching me train through, I was pregnant for a year, and then COVID happened. So I've been waiting very long to get back into the ring. So I'd probably hug them first, that it's, done with, regardless of how the fight goes. My partner will be there, and my 18-month might be there watching as well. So.
Oh, very good, very good, very good.
So I'll probably give them a big hug and kiss.
Since you mentioned that, how did COVID affect your last year of training?
We were shut down for about 2 months where we couldn't go to the gym at all. So I bought Thai pads literally the week I found out that we were shutting down. And I live in like a 2-bedroom apartment. So we have a lawn out in the front, and we just did pad rounds out in the lawn for the rest of the apartment building to see. Then when we got back to the gym, masks, of course, but we also had a like set training partners so that there wasn't much transmission or people getting sick. So we didn't want to be out.
Right.
So I was lucky to also be training pretty steadily with another fighter for most of the past year.
Oh, very good. Very good.
Yeah, and so now we have loosened up a little bit. So people who are vaccinated, we feel more comfortable sparring and hitting drills.
Right. And you told me before we got on that you are vaccinated, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like just so everybody knows who's watching, the fighters have to be tested on Friday night and Saturday for COVID. Unless they're vaccinated, then they don't have to be tested on Friday, only on Saturday. So so that saves you a trip to Hamburg, PA on Friday night.
Thank you.
It's not me, it's the state, and we're just following the guidelines the best we can, trying to make it safe. So
yeah.
Do you have a big contingency? I know you got an 18-month-old following you to the fights. You have a lot of fans going, watching on pay-per-view. How's that all going to go?
Yeah, most of my family is not in state, so they know about the fight, and they're probably going to be streaming it because they're like on the other side of the country. They're in like Washington State, and then of course like most of our I know a lot of people from our gym are planning to go, but those who can't or don't feel comfortable will probably be streaming it. So right. I'm looking forward to put on a good show for them.
Very good. Now, normally you train Muay Thai, right? Yeah. So you have a K1 fight. So how have you made those adjustments? Because it's a different rule set.
Right. I mean, though there's a different rule set, it doesn't change much of my like technique. So just drilling what I can't, making sure I'm not putting in things that I can't do. But still, I mean, you could still throw knees, and there's to a shorter extent, and still kicking, and so there's a lot of the same drilling there. It's just changing maybe the strategy a bit to adapt to K1.
Gotcha. Very good.
Yeah.
Is that a go-to technique for you, the knees?
Depends on, I guess, who I'm fighting. I mean, it won't be my go-to if I can't do it, so it's K1.
Right. So very, very good, very good. So I'm going to kind of give you the last words to kind of sum things up and tell everybody what you want to tell them. The fight is May 15th. It's in Hamburg, PA. Tickets and pay-per-view, all that information is at uskfights.com. And you have a discount code so they can save money on tickets, right?
Yes.
And it's your first and last name together. Okay, very good. So I'll give you the last word, Kelly.
Oh, well, I would just shout out to my coach, Ryan, for matching me and getting me fights. He's been a good advocate trying to get me matched even as soon as I was done with being pregnant and post-COVID. And then my teammates have just been there every day drilling with me. And I couldn't be here if my partner wasn't taking care of our child or working on daycare so that I can get all my training in. So I'm glad to have that support system and lucky.
Very nice, very nice. Now, I know I told you I'd give you the last word, but let me tell you, Ryan really advocated for this fight. We had a bunch of other scenarios possible. Every single time he come back with, now let's do Kelly. Let's do Kelly, and because Madelyn has more fights than you, we had to look at some tape. We had to send it to their coach, say, hey, this girl really knows what she's doing. We had to get special approval from the state. But a lot of it's based on Ryan's advocacy for the fight and your training partners and the group of people you're normally sparring. So I thanked him before for that, but I'll thank him again now in case he decides to watch this and make sure no mistakes online here. So, all right, Kelly, fights in a little over a week, and I look forward to seeing you, and I'm really looking forward to this fight.
All right, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.